I know in my real life I'm not saying the M word as much as I'd like to, but I'm not in a theatrical setting. No bad luck should be coming my way. Right? The Tragedy of Macbeth was adapted for the screen and directed by Joel Coen without the help of his brother Ethan, and it stars the likes of Denzel Washington as our title character and Frances McDormand as his wife. Oh boy, that's an iconic duo right off the bat. And this movie basically follows the same exact plot of the play written by the one and only William Shakespeare, one of my favorite playwrights. You know the drill. A Scottish lord becomes convinced by a trio of mysterious witches that he will become the next king of Scotland. His ambitious wife will do anything to support him in his plans of seizing power, and you have your movie. So let me just cut right to the chase, guys. I may be in the minority saying this here on the medium, but I am a massive fan of the bard William Shakespeare. His plays still carry so much meaning to this very day. I've actually had the privilege of being in As You Like It not once but twice on stage, and you could almost consider his plays timeless. I get it, the language is extremely elevated, iambic pentameter is written all over it, but there are still so many theater companies out in my home base that keep circling back to his work. Shakespeare left an impact on theater history that is still unmatched in my eyes. And there have been many filmmakers and directors, mainly Kenneth Branagh, who have tried to bring his sophisticated vocabulary to the big screen. Some adaptations succeeding more than others. In the Scottish play, as it's known by myself and a bunch of my theater friends because we're superstitious as hell, but this one's gotten a few film adaptations over the years. The latest one with Michael Fassbender in the title role, and that was alright. But let's just say that this version by Joel Coen blows that previous adaptation out of the water. Not only that, but I think the Tragedy of Macbeth might just stand the test of time as one of the strongest Shakespeare films ever. And as a fan of the Bard, it made me so incredibly happy to see this level of effort put into his beautiful language. And keep in mind, this version has been ferociously cut for the sake of time because, 5 acts and all in the original text. But this adaptation is really solid because it leaves the most important aspects of the narrative and it basically cuts out all the fat, and you really don't miss much of anything of what the integral, most important themes are to this story. And even though I knew what was going to happen, which, don't worry, no spoilers to the small handful of you who don't know how a Shakespearean tragedy ends, let's just say that the clue is in the name. Even with the movie's ending being extremely obvious to me, I couldn't help but find myself riveted from scene one. The aspect ratio and the black and white presentation of this movie is definitely the most prominent thing you may notice on the surface, and I think that's a beautifully haunting choice for Joel Coen to take. The shot composition, direction, and cinematography all accentuates shadows quite a bit. And honestly, all these shadows make the material even scarier than it would actually appear. So the filmmaking is relentless from the opening shot. All the fat has been cut off of this gargantuan 5-act script, and therefore you feel the stakes right from the get-go, and the result is a Shakespearean adaptation that is extremely well-paced, anchored by some truly incredible performances, led by Denzel Washington himself, who I honestly can say is one of my favorite actors still working right now. The dude's a freaking legend. And remember, this is not his first foray into a movie that's based off of a famous play. He also directed and starred in Fences in a very affecting performance. Not only do I think it's better than Fences, but I actually think that this is Denzel Washington's best performance, period, since Training Day. Denzel Washington came to play in this movie. I can honestly see him getting nominated for so many awards, including at the Oscars. This is such a compelling character study, very similar to Richard III. Macbeth is not a very likable character. He does some pretty terrible shit along the way to get what he wants, but you just can't help but be compelled by him every single time you see him in frame. Denzel Washington is the part. I absolutely loved him. And Frances McDormand as well. And keep in mind, she's already an icon. She's already got 2 Oscars under her belt. This honestly could give her number 3. Very similar to Denzel Washington, she does have loads of riveting monologue in her own right where she will look and break the fourth wall as you would normally see with a Shakespearean production, and she slays it. Honestly, this may be one of my favorite Frances McDormand performances as well. All these performances are great. Harry Melling, Dudley Dursley himself as Malcolm, is very composed. Brendan Gleeson, Mad-Eye Moody as Duncan, is an imposing leader. Corey Hawkins as well. Oh my gosh, he plays Macduff in here. Super likable. Congratulations, dude. You're picking good projects, fresh off of Benny and In the Heights. Honestly, what more can I say about the Tragedy of Macbeth that hasn't already been said? Honestly, I know it's only January, but this has a very, very good shot at appearing on my best of the year countdown already. The Tragedy of Macbeth was purely excellent. My only issues with this film are merely nitpicks. First of all, I don't know how rewatchable the Tragedy of Macbeth is gonna be in the long haul. I'm absolutely curious to check out this movie at least a second time to see if there were any other small details that I missed along the way. But beyond that second viewing, guys, honestly, I'm not that sure if this movie is gonna hold up for multiple viewings as the years go by. Also, let me address something real quick. There are American actors in this movie, English actors and Irish actors, but there are no truly Scottish actors to my recollection. You know what this movie actually reminded me of the more I think about it? Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Now granted, the Tragedy of Macbeth is not gonna be nearly as fun as all this swashbuckling nonsense here, but you guys remember how Kevin Costner doesn't even attempt an English accent in Prince of Thieves? Same idea here, and it's probably for the best. Denzel Washington talks like, you know, Denzel Washington. And if that is too distracting for you, honestly, I get it, but it honestly didn't bother me too much in the long run. I personally loved this film as a Shakespeare fan. It made me so happy to see a movie like this coming out. It's on Apple TV Plus right now. You absolutely won't want to miss this. I'm gonna give the Tragedy of Macbeth an A. It may be one of the best Shakespeare film adaptations we've ever gotten, if not the very best. This movie was astonishingly good. Now, like I said, there are a few small things that I think hold it back from being just a pure Coen masterpiece, but this is still a staggering feature that I think is absolutely worth your time. It's on Apple TV Plus right now if you haven't seen it yet. Highly, highly recommended. If you guys have seen the Tragedy of Macbeth already, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments section below. Hot takes only, as always. And don't forget, guys, if you guys are new to the channel today, I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can, as well as that little notification bell right next to it. That way you don't miss any other future uploads, of course. This channel is on the road to 1,000 subscribers, amazingly enough. I couldn't have done this all without you, but let's go ahead and reach that number as soon as we possibly can. Any little bit helps. And don't forget, smash that thumbs up button on your way out. That would be some tremendous help as well. And stay tuned for more exciting content hitting this channel very soon. I just uploaded my review for Scream 5, which was a very fun film to go check out in the theaters. And I will be starting my Harry Potter series of reviews, I promise. Still kind of recuperating from vacation over this past week, but y'all are the best. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. With all that being said, back talk, commence.